What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and once again I'm joined with
Gershwin.
as we get ready to answer your questions in another For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. That is what Bruce Corey did. He asks, so who would win in an all-out war? Humanity at their prime or the Eldar at their prime? That's a really good question.
That is, because you have to think about when were these two superpowers at their prime?
I think it's easy to figure out where the Eldar were at their prime because they call it the golden age of the Eldar Empire.
But then, strangely enough, that's the golden age of the Imperium of humanity. I don't think was their peak.
Yeah, no, because it wasn't really the same. Like, I honestly think that nowadays they have a better military, capabilities, but then at the same time, the Great Crusade was really powerful.
And then if you think of the dark age of technology, that's when technology just like erupted and all these crazy technologies and just machinations of the machine god, quote unquote, came to rise.
So I guess what we can do is we could take Eldar at their prime and then the humanity at the different points where we might think that they were at their prime. So like let's first do so like the Eldar prime was at like right before the fall.
Right.
So they were actually very hedonistic, and I think the problem with the Eldar at their prime is that because they had such a good control over the world or the galaxy, the majority of their people wouldn't rally to fight a common enemy.
So then that's the same thing. Would you even say that's their peak?
Not military. So I guess we should look at their military then, right?
Yeah, because even nowadays, their military is not where it should be.
Yeah.
Although Yvrain and Iniad and all that stuff, they're kind of getting all their forces rallied together under a single banner.
Yeah. If that's the case, looking at it from a perspective of like the way that because it's difficult because like we know the way the Eldar wage wars because they have to do it in a way where they respect and they try to preserve as much of their force as they can.
Right, because they're dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like maybe that wouldn't have been the case right after or at the height of their colonization of the galaxy.
But even then, militaristically, even if they were at their peak, I still think that the Imperium during the Great Crusade is a better military force.
You think so?
Yeah, just because of the Primarchs.
Okay.
Who can stand up to the Primarchs? Because they're Phoenix Lords. As close as they are to being like super soldiers,
Yeah.
I don't think they'd match up to a Primarch.
I agree. The only thing, just playing devil's advocate, is that they don't have, or the Imperium has never had access to like a webway.
True.
Whereas like the Eldar, that's how the old ones were able to outmaneuver the Necron tier and how they were able to like survive the Necrons is because they had the webway and they could use it as like a quick and reliable way to get help. Whereas like even in the Great Crusade, sometimes they would send out expeditionary fleets to back up like Primarchs, and the expeditionary fleets would get lost in the war and they just wouldn't make it. So then the Imperium, or specifically the Primarchs, had to like, so they could kind of figure out a way to just solve things on their own. And they would use the expeditionary fleets that were already with them to bolster their ranks. But I don't know, it's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. Because, you have the avatars, which are like huge instruments of war, representation of the gods.
Yeah.
But they get taken down real easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty weak. I think because of the maneuverability, I would give it to the Necrons, though.
The Eldar.
Oh, yeah, sorry. The Eldar. You would say the Imperium?
I want to say yes, but just the Primarchs alone, I think, you can outmaneuver like the forces of the Imperium, but I don't think there's a way for them to take down the Primarchs.
That's fair.
I don't know. It's hard. I could definitely see why outmaneuvering them would end up beating them.
Yeah. And also I think the psychic powers are more.
But you have Magnus.
Oh, that's true. That's just one. But then he has like a whole.
Yeah, his cults,
schools and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Comment down below. Let us know what you think. Which faction would come out on top? It's a tough one.
It is. Obviously, they're going to say humanity because That's the most popular.
Next question.
This one's by Defool06. Which of the two groups of Super Astartes bearing the actual gene seed of the Emperor will be the ones to become corrupted by chaos first? The Grey Knights or the Adeptus Custodes? It's only a matter of time for both, or is it impossible for both? So as of now, there has never been a Grey Knight that has been corrupted by chaos, unless you take the theory that Slaanesh Silver Knight is Drago or a fallen Grey Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Based on that, I'll say that the Grey Knights should be the ones that never get corrupted, because that's their whole purpose. The whole institution of being a Grey Knight is to specifically fight against chaos and chaos demons. And if they're able to be turned to chaos, that's essentially strengthening the one thing they were made to defeat. So because of that, I'm going to say Grey Knights.
Yeah, it's almost as if they are prepped for that specific purpose, mm-hmm. whereas like the Adeptus Custodes are just prepped to defend the Emperor from everything.
Right.
It's more of a broad, whereas the Grey Knights are very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention that we saw Fabius Bile experimenting on an Adeptus Custodes.
It doesn't mean he's... Because there's a dead Custode, I assume.
Yeah, but like I'm pretty sure that he can revive him in a certain way. Well, I guess, would that be counted as being corrupted?
Reviving him towards chaos?
Yeah.
I would say no, because I don't think it's going to be the Custodes' mind and personality choosing to go chaos.
It's just like you were resurrected, so now you're like kind of
mm-hmm.
Frankenstein's monster type of deal.
Yeah.
Well, I see it. Yeah. Next question comes from J-Rod Murderface. He asks, instead of Titans, why not giant tanks? There are. Yeah. We did a 40
They're
facts.
They're called
Titans. We did a 40 facts on, what are they called? The something Ordinatus?
The...
Centurion Ordinatus or something?
Something like that, yeah.
But those are vehicles, or those are tanks, essentially. They're just weapons placed with, or they put tracks on these Titan-sized weapons, and then they just destroy worlds with it, or destroy fortresses with it. So they exist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my opinion, that always was like the whole like, how come there aren't any like robots and like mechanized, warriors of wars? Because it makes more sense to just have like a big gun that you can move around instead of like
a walker, a humanoid walker.
Although, like, maneuverability is also a thing, too. Because, like, obviously you can't move a gun, like, up a mountain or, like, some type of weird terrain.
That's true. Whereas you could walk up.
I guess, yeah.
You're the Iron Giant.
Mm-hmm.
Next question.
This one is by... Oh, no, we already did that one.
I have one from Oda, God of Wisdom. Do Chaos Warbands recruit from worlds or hold recruiting planets? Both.
Yeah.
So they can either recruit... not really recruiting, because nobody's like, yeah. So they probably just steal humans and then do what they do with them. But again, Chaos Space Marines find it more difficult to actually produce new Chaos Space Marines because of the fact that they don't have the Adeptus Mechanicus to help them in forming gene seed and creating all this kind of stuff.
Although they do have the Doc Mechanicus.
Yep. But it seems like they're always more towards like the machine. Like a Maggle's biologist is less likely to be corrupted than somebody working on a demon engine type of deal.
Yeah, that's true.
Next question.
This one is by Caboose NZ69. Hey guys, it's the Kiwi again. His question is, how many Space Marine chapters have been created in all of 40K, and which ones are the oldest?
Chapters is the oldest?
Well, which one, or how many chapters have been created, and which chapter is the oldest?
Okay.
So, oldest would probably be easiest, and that would be the First Legion, the Dark Angels.
Yeah.
Because they were the first ones to be put into combat, at least, by the Emperor, back when they were still trying to take over the Warlords of Terra.
Yep.
And how many Space Marine chapters? Was it Chingo?
Yeah, it's unknown.
Yeah.
The thing about space, I just caught that. The thing about that too is like, it's constantly they're constantly changing. I think I already said that. Yeah.
Yeah, you have ones that go renegade, others that come from that reemerge from the warp. So there's always a fluctuation in their numbers.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say, now I remember, is that at any given time there's about 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
There's usually just that many.
And there's usually about 1,000 Marines in each. Right? Is that right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. With the exception of like the Black Templars and the Space Wolves and stuff like that. But then that goes to show you that even with those numbers,
there's not a lot.
No, there's not that many Space Marines.
Mm-hmm. And it's back in the Heresy days. They would have 100,000s to a chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after the Codex Astartes, that really changed.
Yeah. Next question comes from Isaac Hahn, and he asked this question a lot. So, what if Bridget B is watching your videos? Let's collaborate. Just hit us up, onemindsyndicate1@gmail.com. Let's work something out. The fan wants it. The fans want it.
The singular fan wants it 3 times.
Yeah, that one person, yeah. Let's be real. We want it. We like your performance. Next question.
This one's by Tugkin Base, or Boss. So one of the Eldar legends says that Segura will make a final stand and that he will trick Slaanesh to help the Eldar. What do you think about this, and how will this actually happen?
I really thought it was gonna happen when they were gonna bring that new god.
Iniad.
Yeah, but it turned out that it didn't. I don't really know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And I don't think Games Workshop is even hinting at that they're gonna do anything with Slaanesh or the Harlequins or even like Segura.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like, here's a cool ass like god. Bye.
Yeah.
Have fun.
He's essentially the Joker of 40K, and it's like you're doing nothing with him.
Yeah.
Just think of everything you could do.
Yeah. But again, I think it goes back to that whole concept of like, there's not that many Eldar players out there. So they don't sell as many units.
But Primaris, you gotta upgrade them every other week.
Take Slaanesh, put Bridget B's body on a model, and then connect it to Segura, and Segura would be what's that dude from? There's only like one guy porn star that shows up on all the memes.
The bald one.
The bald one, yeah.
Oh, Johnny Sins.
Yeah, there you go. Put him, and bam, Eldar just became the most popular faction.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, that should be like the next greater demon of Slaanesh. Just Bridget B.
Yeah, just Bridget B.
Mm-hmm. Just like cast her body and that's
Creature Cast should get on that.
You calling her a creature?
Next question, sometimes. Next question comes from Joshua Gallagher. Do you think Henry Cavill is the Emperor's current form in our time period? And if so, do you think him showing us that he paints Custodes is the way of showing us that his true identity? I have so much saliva in my mouth. So no, I don't think that Henry Cavill is the Emperor because he's not really in a position of power. To be honest, like it feels like a what is the word when somebody's just like using something to get attention?
Oh,
like he's just doing it for clout. Like I don't actually think that Henry Cavill is a legit 40K player. When we heard the story of the genie, what's his name?
Oh, Robin Williams?
Yeah, Robin Williams playing 40K. That was believable because we learned about it not by him saying like, oh, look at me, I play 40K. No, we actually learned it from his daughter showcasing his old
armies.
Eldar army. Yeah. And the rumor was that he actually played Nurgle too, and he would go to the Games Workshop's shop that he would, frequent, and they would used to call like secretly and stuff like that. And the owner couldn't reveal the fact that it was actually Robin Williams purchasing. That's legit. That feels legit. Henry Cavill showing us him painting a new model of the Adeptus Custodes, a line that came out like a year or two ago. It's just like, man, you don't play for 40K. Like show us you like reading an old codex or you painting like an old model of the Adeptus Custodes. Well, they didn't have any, right?
Right.
But like show us you painting like an old school Space Marine.
But what if he just got into 40K?
But then he's not one of us, right?
But he's like, oh, look, I'm playing The Witcher, and look at all the old fans from the old Witcher series. And
that still feels like, bro, don't use it just to get clout, you know?
I mean, I don't think he needs the clout. The dude played Superman. Dude was like in Mission Impossible.
No, I think there is value, because especially with the success that Critical Role has gotten, and how big Dungeons and Dragons has become, I think that Games Workshop
wants to be the next Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, basically, and they can be, if they do the right moves.
Put out more Warhammer Adventure books.
Yeah, that's the perfect move.
Yeah.
If Games Workshop had something to do with Henry Cavill, like posting that out, it's just like, you're forcing it. Just just legit tell us that you guys are doing a project with him, and I think that would be better than him coming out and saying, I'm one of you guys. It's like, no, we can sense the fakeness. Where's your acne? Where's your Mountain Dew and your Doritos? Then you're one of us.
Your body doesn't say war game.
Yeah, exactly. You need to be shy when you talk to people, and you're not. But yeah.
But I mean, that's just like the persona he puts out because of his PR manager and all that.
So you're saying, like, deep down inside, he's just like a...
Yeah, because I mean, he's said that before, that like he prefers to stay indoor and play video games and stuff like that. But again, that just might be another PR stunt.
Yeah.
We never know in this day of age.
Yeah. Just hire Bridget B to be like whatever.
If Bridget B came out and said, "Oh, look, I play,"
and then she had like a new Slanesh model and she was painting it, I would believe her.
Like Slanesh model that's not even out yet.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been painting these for years.
I haven't talked to Games Workshop at all. That would be kind of cool though, if that did happen. And yes, because there's a double standard.
Yeah, of course.
It's definitely because there's a double standard. Next question.
Is that a double entendre?
I have one. No, that's the main one that we talked about.
This one's by Reject X7. Do you think ratlings and ogrins are more accepted than felinids?
Yeah, definitely.
Why?
That's the lore. That's what the lore says. There was initially there was a total, I think, of 23 abhumans. They cut that down to like 14, and now there's only like, I think it was like 7 accepted abhumans.
But when you think about it, like ratlings look pretty much like humans. Ogrins look pretty much like humans.
Yeah.
Felinids, that's just cat people.
Yep.
Like they're cats with human features.
It's a new species. Yeah,
same things with like the minotaurs. They're too far from looking like normal humans, and that's why they get essentially racially profiled, and they just get the bad end of the stick, really.
Yeah, and I don't fault like that administratum faction for doing that, because beastmen. When you look at a beastman and you look at a human, it's like you did not come from humanity.
But they
hooves.
did, though.
You have hooves. Well, it might be chaos though.
Right.
Check out our 40 facts on the Beastmen of 40K.
It's all the same thing as like the whole X-Men series, where like if you're a mutant but you still look like a human, you could pass.
Yeah.
But if you get all these mutations and you look like
Nightcrawler.
Yeah, Nightcrawler, then that's where you get all the negatives.
That's true. Yeah. But yeah. Did we answer his question?
Why are they accepted? Because they look more like human.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There should be a new faction where like the rebellious mutants of humanity.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm telling you, Games Workshop needs to create a military codex or a mercenary codex, and then you could just do whatever. You don't even have to just stick to abhumans. You could do whatever.
Zotes.
An army of Zotes. An army of Bridget Bees. And those are the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
This is the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh1.
And we are out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.